Alrighty, folks, want to welcome you to another video from Yates Computers Tips and Reviews. So, want to make sure everybody heads on over, hits the subscribe, joins YouTube, whatever you got to do so you can subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell. Well, I've already went through 2 videos. This is kind of the 3rd video that I wanted to touch base on. Went through the user, went through the admin account roles. The user is really your weakest link of the accounts, the weakest link of the computer, because the user account has the choice. They can choose, do I want to click on that or do I not want to click on that? Do I want to close that? Do I want to report this link to my email provider that this is suspicious, something funny, let them investigate? Do I want to report this email to this company because this is obviously not that company that is sending me this email? You have these choices. The admin is basically the account that can force you to do certain things, that can force you or force something to happen. So you can put in software, you can put in email monitoring software and other stuff that will automatically take that suspicious phishing email, whatever that little quirky email, any email that has cyber currency, Bitcoin, and discard it. So that user does not have that choice. Do I want to open that? You know that email is no good. Your software you pay for that monitors your email knows it's no good. It has reports, it has screening, it has a lot of tools that looks through it all and decides, okay, this is no good, get rid of it. The other factor for this video, I brought it up a lot in the last 2 videos, is your security on these accounts. A lot of the study, a lot of research that I've been doing keeps coming back up with the same subject. And I didn't realize it was kind of that big of a problem. I know it could be a problem. And it does make sense. I've seen some videos mention this. I mentioned it on the other video. When you create your user account, like Windows 10, Windows 11, it asks you for 3 questions. There's a lot of recommendations out there that say, don't put truthful answers in there. And I went, what? Why would? Then how do you log in? Know what you put in there. Know what you would want to answer when it asks you that security question. Know a common phrase, something that you would put in there that to retrieve that information, because a lot of those questions are not really confidential information anymore. What's your first pet's name? What street, what town were you born in or on? What's your mother's maiden name? You know, there's a lot of these questions that are really kind of easy to find nowadays. And there's a lot of places you can pay to do background checks, to do research that will give you this information. So if someone gets your username from you and you have all this on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you go into the park with your dog, Spot, and you have on there, oh, my poor dog died, or this date, and you're sad, or whatever you posted. And you have the name, you have the date, you have everything there. And you have that as your security question. Well, they now know what your pet's name was because it's out there in the public domain. Knowing all of this social media, knowing all of this stuff has become kind of a security concern. As a user and as an admin and all of those type of things, I keep seeing these type of things out there. Of course, you could go into Facebook and hide stuff, put it private, put it friends only, put it, of course, then, people's accounts get breached, get taken over. I'm sure everybody knows all of this with Facebook, that people hack into people's accounts. Well, never quite understood why someone would want to take over someone's account, ransom someone's account. And this week it kind of like, you know what? They keep talking about this. This is kind of an interesting thing because I honestly didn't connect 1 and 2 here. That now someone can take over one of your friends' accounts, but you're set private. You're set so only your friends can see your information. Guess what? They took over his account that can see your account because he's in your account when you're sharing your account, and they can see all your information. And in attacks and in security, there's a chain of events that can happen. And it's your vendor chain type of an attack that gets into businesses. Well, this just kind of happened on you because they took over that account. But why? Maybe it's not you. Maybe it's one of their other friends or someone else they're interested in, or the business they work for. Because I mentioned, you can post stuff on there. Hey, just had a retirement party for Bob. Kathy and Mark and Jack and Frank were all there. And you have like a pictures and you have other things of the party, the account. Well, depending on where you have that party and account, that could actually be in a break room, could be in a boardroom, it could be somewhere in your business that actually gives that attacker or whoever physical eyes on your environment. Not to mention, it just mentioned Frank used to work there, Kathy, Bob, and so were all there at the meeting. So that means all these people work for this business. So this was kind of an interesting subject to me because I'm not into that mindset of hacking and how these type of things go on. But this is important as an administrator and as a user. You may want to keep some more of that information more private because not only is it your information, but your friend that got his account compromised is friends with, let's say, 80 some other people. That's 80 some other people that their information got shared. So if you work with a bunch of people that are friends on your Facebook and you put Mark and Sherry and Bob were there and you have Mark White and Sherry Smith and as friends and they post, hey, we work at, Construction Concrete B, they all have the same company name and you work for the same company, they now know their first name, last name, everything, and then they can actually look at their pages depending on what their settings are. So this was kind of the interesting subject that came up, is the social media security. And kind of was something I never really thought anything about. Not really was something that I was really concerned about. But in the years, I had mine compromised a lot of times. I would go in, lock it down, change passwords, change a lot of things as soon as I could. But then there's some that get compromised and they just let it go. They don't care. Oh, you know what? It's too much of a pain because now I'm trying to deal with this company to try to get the account locked. They're asking me all kinds of questions. And if it's a good hacker or a good organization that knows what they're doing, they could get in there and change a lot of your profile information. They could change a lot of that. They can change the address. They can change a lot of stuff once they take over that account. So then you call them and you tell them, hey, I'm at this address. Well, that doesn't match what's on your profile number. So you get into kind of a battle with them to try to unlock that account because your personal information got changed. They could run JavaScripts, they can run other scripts, they can do other stuff to get in there. So this was not really a security thing that I thought of, but this is something that keeps coming up a lot. And I don't hear a lot out there talking about this. I've heard a lot about, security keys, session keys. There was a major YouTube video streamer, broadcaster, influencer that was taken down because the system got hacked into by phishing that got their session keys, that got them into YouTube, that got them to change the profile name and got a lot of things to happen. There's a lot of things that took place that really could have been prevented by a few little security policy changes on the company side. And this is where a lot of the concerns come up because now it's on the company side. It's not on your side because you don't control that site. It's on that company side to secure all that information and make sure everything's fine. So you don't really think about that type of security. That's out on the cloud, that's secured, that's password protected, that's all that type of stuff. But they're not really interested in your physical account. They might be in that regard for certain accounts to look at, could be what's on your account. But it could also be to look at what's on your vendor's account. Could be to look at what's on your friend's account, your parents' account, your uncle's account, anybody else's account. Because maybe the chain that they want is they want to get to someone else that you are friends with. So all the information they could collect off of your site related to this other account will help them get into that account to get to their end goal. And to me, I kind of thought, wow, that's kind of interesting. I never really kind of thought about that. About, making sure a lot of that's secure, a lot of that information secure. Because I see people posting all kinds of stuff. Hey, man, I was in Mexico at this place and blah, 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 blah with so-and-so. And these are all out public. These aren't shared private photos. This is not private sharing. This is public where anybody that looks at his profile can see it. Yeah, it's just Facebook, it's common nowadays. But now this has really become a security issue. Twitter, all of those type of things that people are, Instagram, posting pictures and, out at parties and all this type of stuff that they post nowadays that really that could be a huge factor because they know where you're at, when you were at it, all these type of factors because you basically shared it, you gave it away. Kind of like, I gotta say, dumpster diving it is for fishing for information. You go through someone's dumpsters, you take the paperwork, you go look at it. Well, that's physical items you have in your hand. This is almost like physical items. Except for it can be worse because you can actually zoom in, depending on the resolution, you can actually see the people in the back. You can see the whole room. You can see, hey, look, there's a security camera in this corner. Hey, look, there's a window over here that I could see out to the parking lot, and hey, that's, I can see right into that office building window. That you can see a lot of detail now. So it's not just written information. And of course, there's written information because you posted all that information. So I wanted to do a little video on this because I mentioned it in the other videos, and it seems to be kind of a big security thing. And of course, this is a rabbit hole. This is a rabbit hole because the more you look at it, the deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper it'll go. What security you want to do, what you want to do, what you don't want to post, how you want to say stuff. Policies, procedures. Do you want to post business related stuff? Do you want to post, here I'm on YouTube posting to Twitter, Facebook, all these other things. My video's available, blah, 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 blah. I have these accounts for that. I'm not really posting, hey, this is my birthday party and all of this stuff on that. I'm keeping them separate, and knowing those kind of procedures might really help your security. Might really help a lot of things. But I think a lot of people are posting those things because it's getting that ooh and ah, and everybody wants to see what's going on. And that is helping you to get more eyes on your site that will help to market kind of your site, that will help to grow your site. Well, those eyes might not be good eyes. Those might be the bad eyes looking for that information. So I kind of thought that was really kind of an interesting subject that kept coming up. And it's not really the factor that I looked at a whole lot. I don't know or heard of too many company policies and other things out there. You hear about all this stuff about TikTok. China's going to find your information. China's going to find this. China's going to look at that. And I'm like, I don't understand TikTok. What's so wrong with TikTok? Because really, when I look at TikTok, it's people shaking their butt, doing other stuff, and I can understand it's not business appropriate because a lot of the stuff I see and stuff they show is not, I think, business appropriate. So as for an administrator and security-wise, yeah, I can see why you don't want to be showing this. Not to mention, could be kind of offensive to some people if you're sitting there watching some of this stuff. There's some of it that was very interesting that I saw. I had an account. I tried to do some videos on there. But as you can tell from my videos, I can't keep them short enough to even do a TikTok video. My videos are too long. And I've been trying to trim them. And I finally just said, you know what? I can't trim these videos because if I trim them, I don't feel I'm giving you the information you need. I'm going to be like everybody else going, hey, here you go. See you later. What was hey? I want to explain all these details out. I want people to understand what I'm trying to relay to you so that you can actually go out, do the research, do the homework, and figure out like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. There was this kind of an attack. There was this kind of information that was out there. There was this, there was that. And that's when you get into the security side. Been doing some research, doing some studies, because got to get with the 20th century tech. Get up to modern standards. Understanding some of the new encryptions, the new coding, the new stuff that's out there. Computer field, you're always learning. There's always going to be more. There's always going to be obsolete stuff going out. So there'll be old technology going out, new technology coming in. This is kind of the new technology that's in the middle that's catching the red flags, because everybody's posting all this stuff from their phones and posting all kinds of stuff. And the new tech is asking you certain questions that really probably need to be modified and not ask you those questions. They need to ask you something different. Something that you would not usually post. But the reason why they ask you those questions is because those are the questions you should know. So when they ask you the question to restore your email or restore your password or change your password, you know it. But the problem is that might be something you're also sharing without you actually realizing how you are sharing it. And to me, I always thought the Facebook account was not a valuable, important account. It wasn't a dollar value account. Well, now I'm kind of finding it is a dollar value account. And it may want to lead you to have policies and procedures against that. Now, I'm not just saying Facebook. There's other ones out there. The new Truth one, the new whatever, Twitter, all of those type of things can put out that kind of information. People can look at it. There's public domains that have a lot of that information where people can search. There's background check stuff where you can pay like a monthly fee and it'll tell you like, oh, this person's age, where they've worked, their address, who their relatives are, all that kind of stuff. There's services you can pay for that will give you a lot of that information. So, wanted to touch base on that because to me, I knew some of it, but I did not really realize how much of an issue this really was. It was, someone saw I went to Cancun, had a good time, my wife went, some family members went, we met some friends over there. Who cares? Now, to me, that's not a big factor because my wife, everybody pretty much knows who my wife is. My friends, whoever showed up, my family, whoever showed up, are not security factors. They're not in my verifications. They're not in passwords. They're not used for usernames. They don't have access to my systems, my friends. I might do a guest account with a specific guest name, with a specific thing. They don't have a unique name to them. In a business, that might be one of those factors some people can kind of piece together. These people all work here and these are the names. And it would help with phishing attacks. And I've mentioned in the other video, they've got me a couple times and it took hours to clean up my system and restore it and do a lot of things because I clicked on something because they got me hooked. And I knew better not to, and I did it. And then, oops, and I went and scanned, and of course, I got bit and I had to take care of it. So, I've been in the industry long enough. I knew better to do it. But now, with all the sophisticated engineering that you can do by going out to websites and looking at other places, you can actually get enough information that someone can actually use it against you. One of the training videos that I've watched mentioned they were spear phishing a CEO. A direct phishing attack towards a direct individual is the phishing attack, a spear phishing attack. It's basically phishing, but they have it very directed towards one person. They knew the kids' names because it's on Facebook. He's posted it, knew the family name, knew all of this stuff, knew the town, everything else, what school the kids were going to, all of that stuff. And they heard there was a situation at the school. The attacker then knew that was the perfect time to get that individual. They sent an email spoofing the school email address, maybe not even. They could have sent it from a Google email address, whatever, that person did not actually recognize it because he got hooked. It said from such and such school, update. On their update of current situation, blah, 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 click this link to get the current update on situation at the school. He clicked it and got infected. So this was all information that was publicly available. And that kind of like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, I did not actually think of all these other little mediums to get to actually spear phishing or phishing you. To get that information, to get those credentials. Hey, go log on to the school site and, they have that school site set up so that as soon as you log in, it collects your information, but you don't log in. It doesn't log in. It's not a legitimate site. You gave them all the credentials for your login to whatever site that was. Maybe there's a certain news organization you log into and you're posting a lot of their stuff from their Facebook. And they send you a well-crafted email about something happening in your town from that news organization. Log into our site. You click that link. Try to log in. Well, that gives that attacker all your credentials. They go into that news site, log in, and it has all your personal information that you had for that account. Maybe even the history of what you've looked at. So they know. They have more information to get you for the next email coming in. To get you to the next thing so they can get more information. So I really kind of thought that was interesting. Because that's not really an area I thought of. I try to keep a lot of that stuff separate. Of course, I go on trips and I take pictures of it and I post the pictures and I do that kind of stuff. But that is nothing to do with my security. And to know the difference between the security and your personal information seems like a lot of it's kind of blending because of stuff like Windows asking you, what was your first pet's name? What street did you grow up on? Well, you can probably find that on Facebook. Have pictures when you were a kid playing out on the street. Oh, this is when I was 21 at, Chatsworth or Canoga Park or Sun Valley or Phoenix or Tucson or, you're going to have that information right there. With the year. I was 12 in 1920. Okay, you can go back to the year you were born. Pretty close. Down to 2 year span. Just from that. So, I hope I've gone on long enough with this because to me this was, again, I've mentioned I've been in the industry for a long time. Some of this stuff is kind of new, kind of filtering out because now they're learning all these attack vectors and how people are getting this information and what's out there. And to be aware. Like, hey, you posted this here and you shared this here and then this is how they're getting all this information. And now you got computers that are getting so fast and so sophisticated with AI technology. That's a whole nother concern. Because you have AI that can be used for good, you have AI that can be used for bad, depending on how you program it. Now, if you program the AI for bad to collect all the data and all this stuff and correlate it in a certain way that you can use it for breaching and collecting the information, well, that's going to make things a little easier for them. Having the AI to try to identify these things so hide this information or remove it, that can actually help. So you have the split. So this is what I wanted to cover in this video, because this technology's out there, stuff's going on that probably a lot of people aren't really realizing, aren't understanding, quantum computing and all of this other stuff that's going on that makes it so people can get this information really fast. And when it's public, and they gather the information, they correlate it, they save it. Rainbow tables is one of the things that are out there, is where they coordinate, where they run all these different programming and they list it so they don't have to run it again. They have all that information already, so they don't have to rerun these configurations over and over again. So I want to wrap this one up. I threw some terms in there. If you're interested, go out, do some research, figure it out. But it is just kind of a warning and awareness, because this is one of the factors that I found with user and admin. You have this floating variable in between of public domain, sharing, social media type of information out there that could actually overlap into your security on either side. And I haven't heard too many people talk about it, but the research and the training that I'm doing and the research I'm doing keeps bringing this up. And I figured I better do a video and explain this and how this affects both sides. Alrighty, thank you so much.